Special guest here, Mario Sepulveda.
Sepulveda.
Sepulveda. Thank you
get
for
it.
correcting me.
Sepulveda, if you can't say it the Spanish way.
Yeah, we got Mario here. I'm sorry, he's a working man, so we had to start a little bit later. We also have a couple of new features for this live stream. We have some help from amazing special guests who you can't see in the back, an Englishman by the name of Dave. He's hiding in the shadows. We got a couple other little gadgets, and hopefully the audio sounds a lot better. You guys might know, back to Mario, you guys might know this man from, didn't mean to do that, from the Hotline, Hotline Mario, actually, on YouTube, what, last year?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody a little bit better than I did.
I'm Mario. Like Terry said, I'm a working man. So activities. And yeah. Born and raised in Harlem. I'm in the Bronx now, but I'm a Harlem cat.
Yo.
And
So, how did you get into cycling?
how did I was doing all type of sports. I was doing skateboarding, inline. Then eventually I was like, let me just ride a bike because my ankles couldn't take it anymore. And my good friend Jono, he put me on to the fixed gear bikes because originally I was riding a beat up mountain bike that had a barely working front brake. And I was foot jamming everywhere. And then Jono got me into cycling, and
Wait, that bike had no brakes?
it had a barely
The bike had no brakes.
barely working front brake, so no brakes. All right, so we have my All City Thunderdome. That was my first aluminum track bike. Let's see. So I'm gonna take you way back. So after my first fixed gear got stolen, I got myself a Bianchi Eros road bike. That was the bike that I toured to Canada with. After that bike, I got a Bianchi Pista, the polished one. I broke that one, and then I got the Thunderdome. And then I got the Nature Boy from Menos Frenos. He moved to Virginia, so I fathered that bike. After that one, I built my first road bike, my LA. Then I got the Tarmac. Then my brother bought me the Broken Arrow.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then
That's a cross bike, right?
yeah, that's the cross bike. Then what did I get after that? Oh, I bought this Simoncini or Simoncini, whichever way you say it, from Kid, my old messenger boss, since he sold all his track bikes, and that's currently sitting with me now. And after that bike, I got a tall bike.
You have a tall bike?
Yeah, I have a tall
You
bike.
got a tall bike in your house right now?
It's actually locked up downstairs from my building, but yeah, I have a tall bike.
Damn, that's pretty cool. I've never ridden one, but I always wanted to.
Oh my god, it's so fun.
I'm gonna have to hit you up on that.
It's so fun.
Gonna have to hit you up on that.
Whenever. You can borrow it whenever. It's just sitting there, chilling.
So you went from a bike that didn't have a working brake, a single speed, right?
Mm. Basically, mountain bike, single speed, gears barely worked.
Oh, okay. So how did you get in? How did you get into riding that first track bike, and when did you notice that?
Um, when I got my first track bike, I remember the guy asking me specifically, well, my first fixie, because it was the SE Draft. I wouldn't really consider that a track bike. Yeah, the guy asked me if I wanted it to be single speed, and I was like, no, I want it fixed. And he's like, well, this wheel set's not gonna be compatible for fixed gear. So I bought a new wheel set on the spot, and from that day on, I'd just been riding fixed. It took me about roughly 2.5 weeks to 3 weeks to take off the front brake, and I've been riding brakeless ever since.
Word, and all of this has been going on in New York. Let's talk about growing up in New York, because you're born and raised in New York City, right?
Yes, sir.
So could you talk a little bit about just, growing up in New York, and then even just riding a bike, like as you were younger, and growing up with cycling in your life, and then as into today?
Well, originally, like I said, I was into skateboarding and inline, so that really kept me in the small radius of my community because I wasn't really going anywhere. But the minute I got a bike, I started to see new places, different parts of the city. I touched Jersey, started hitting 9W and just getting around. And then I started touring, which was a huge impact in my life. Because now I'm not in the city. Now I'm in the sticks somewhere where I can't take a cab back home, and I can't just get on the train and take it a couple of stops to go home. So now I really have to just thug it out and either get the ride over with or ride to the nearest train station, which was very far. So, but growing up in New York City, I definitely felt trapped until I started cycling.
It's like the key to freedom. Like we've talked about that. Other people have talked about that before on the show. Like as soon as you start riding, you're just like unlocked.
You get tired of your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like there's only but so many laps that you can do in your neighborhood until you get tired of it. And then you're like, all right, let me go a couple miles down. And then the more people you meet and you just discover, different places, you're just like, all right, I'm going to leave my neighborhood now and go downtown and hang out downtown for the day. And you just find it so much easier to just get around when you're on a bike. And that's what I don't know, like I don't even know how to explain it. It just benefited me in a way where it's like, all right, I'm out. See you later, Mom. Toodaloo. Come back 12 o'clock at night on a school night or whatnot. And it's just like, I was a little tired. I couldn't make it home right away. So, but I'm here.
So, there we go. Sorry. So going from riding your bike as a youngster, and then you were a messenger at one point, yeah?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So that came along with my first fixed gear bike. I was working food delivery in Spanish Harlem. There's a spot called Milk Burger that they moved to the Bronx on 138, I believe, something like that. I was working for them for quite a while. I had my zone pretty much down packed. I was making the most money I could possibly make, and I saved up a lot of money working that job, and that's what bought me my second bike after my first bike got stolen. But that I went from working food delivery to messenger work. I started working for Street Kings. And that's really what molded me to be the person who I am now. Like I'm no longer doing messenger work, but I still have that work mentality of just grinding and, getting from point A to point B my fastest and, just keeping that workflow.
This button is very sensitive. So going from, growing up on a bike and then working on your bike, like when did when did like street racing, like in alley cats, when did that like cross your path and you start doing that? Because I know, you know, yeah, when did that start? I'll go into my next question.
I feel like it almost came naturally. Like if you're a messenger, you're gonna find out about local races, and then of course you have the infamous race of New York City, which is Monster Track. So here everybody is the whole year looking forward to Monster Track, and then when that day comes, it's just like a whole weekend of partying, and everybody's just looking forward to it. You know, we like you know, working here in the city as a messenger, it was like, yeah, you have the well, when I was a messenger, you had the Boda races, you had of course Monster Track, you had the lap jams, you had there was a Boulevard of Death, the Queens race. There was a handful of races to look forward to, and that they were always promoted in the office. So it's like, yeah, Street Kings is sponsoring this race. I'm probably gonna show face. Yeah.
Nice, dude. And then I know that you have done, you've podiumed and won a few, right? Like, I know, what, Bombing Broadway?
Yeah, Broadway Bomb is my recent podium. I'm kind of, I'm not the most savvy when it comes to knowing my streets and knowing direct addresses and little nooks and crannies of the city, but you give me a straight shot and I'm going for it.
For sure. Like second half?
Yeah, that's my normal commute to work, so I got it like routed in the back of my hand.
So how did you transition from racing on the street to like racing on the velodrome for like a team? Because I know you were out there doing that for a bit.
Well, everybody always said like, "Oh, dude, you're fast. You should get on the velodrome. It's a lot safer, and you know, put all your power out on the track." And you know, I gave it my 2 years, 2.5 years, I think. I think it was like 2 or 3 seasons. And yeah, everybody that's Cat 1, Cat 2 now, I started racing with them. So it's almost like an honor to race with people that just upgraded and are doing their thing now. I personally don't like the track. I felt like a hamster in their little wheel, just going around in circles and just trying to, you know, catch up to the person that's in front of me, but you can't cross this line at this point and this and that. And like,
you only pass on this side.
There's so many rules where it's just like, dude, I'm just going to stick to street racing, man. And then I discovered road racing.
Yeah. And then you were racing for Yes?
I raced for, well, in the beginning I raced for myself, and then I joined Yes Racing for a season, and then that fell through. And then I kind of fell through too. I stopped racing so consistently because I was working like a madman. And
that's a difficult balance for people who, you got to provide and make money, right? You got to eat, and then you got to spend time and money on this bike racing thing. It's really,
oh man,
I don't know how people do it.
Dude, it was hectic.
Even as a professional, like as a Cat 1, you're still not making anything.
Yeah, it was hectic. Like I worked 7 to 4 to then race to Floyd Benefield, get there by 6 o'clock, to then, you know, change real quick and get a quick warm up in, to then race for 45 minutes and then ride from Floyd Benefield to my house in, well, at the time I was living in the Bronx. So to ride from Floyd Benefield back to the Bronx and then wake up in the morning the next day, 7 o'clock in the morning with the sore legs, and ride to work and work a whole day as a plumber. So it's just like, it really caught up to me when I just couldn't make certain races because of my work schedule.
This damn button, dude. It's crazy. There's a button to switch the camera on this thing here, and you know, obviously this is new. It's so sensitive.
Just keep tapping it, bro.
Yeah,
it'll eventually
I'm sorry
get there.
for the flickering of the camera angle. Can't decide who we want to look at here.
Just look at both of us. That's it.
Yeah. David's over there telling me how to do it better, so we'll see. We'll see if that works. Let's see. We got 1, and we got 2, and we got 1, and we got 2, and we got 1. Okay, great. I think I got it. Thank you, David. So you just mentioned you were a plumber. So during all that road racing, so how how did you go from um, being a messenger to like being a plumber? And I feel like, no offense to anyone who's like a plumber, but I feel like Mario. I think there's another name. He's in. From what I see, it looks like he's like in big ass buildings. Or you're in big buildings, and you're like doing more than what I think. You know, just calling someone to like fix a sink or something.
Yeah, I work in a lot of new up and coming buildings and new structures, and I don't really do the fixer uppers or any of that stuff. Like, I'm doing mostly commercial work. So yeah, I'm always in a new building or like a renovated building that's completely gutted, and we're putting brand new pipes and, you know, brand new equipment in the building. So you'll never catch me in like an old building. And that transition came from just beating myself up on the bike. You know, working long hours on the bike, and then, you know, to then go and try to enjoy yourself on the same bike you just grinded on for, you know, 9 hours, 10 hours. It got hard for me, and it kind of beat me up. So I said to myself, I can't do this. Like, I want to make more money, and I want to be able to enjoy my bike. And eventually, you know, I just followed through with the trade that I went to school with.
How long was your school for that?
Oh, it wasn't that long. It was
So when were you? I mean, when were you going to school to do that? Like, when did that fit in?
I went to school to be a plumber. It was just before I started doing food delivery, like fresh out of high school. 2011. Took a couple months after I came out of high school, and then jumped right into trade school. I needed to do something with my life.
So you already had that lined up, and then you were working on your bike, and then how do you do that? Do you have to join a union or something?
No, I'm working in a private company, but I went to high school, graduated high school, didn't do anything for a handful of months, and it was either me join the military or me pick up a trade.
Yeah.
And I decided to pick up a trade, and I completed school, I graduated, I got my certificates and whatnot, and I really didn't do anything directly after trade school. And that's when I got into the food delivery and the messenger work, and I got busy doing that for a couple of years, and I just realized that the money I was making wasn't adding up to the amount of work that I was putting out. So it was either, you know, continue grinding and busting your ass doing that, or, you know, choose a different job and make some more money.
Yeah, man. It's hard to make money on the bike.
I mean,
the amount of work to
it's hard to make comfortable money on a bike.
Yeah. Especially nowadays, right?
Oh, nowadays.
You hear about people who were messengers a few years back.
Yeah.
Where it was like the golden days.
It was way different back in 2012, 2013, 2014. Like, those were the years that people were actually making, you know, a nice lump sum of money and going home comfortable.
Yeah.
With their check.
So we got this little lower thirds here. Post your questions for Mario.
Hey.
While you guys are thinking about some questions to ask Mario, we're going to throw up a quick little vid that I might need some help from David to post up, because I don't see it.
Where is it?
I don't know how to throw up that video. David.
Let's go, David.
Hey, Dave. I think he's listening to music over there. Hey, David. So we're going to throw up the hotline that we did a few years back. Can you load the video? Can you load the video on the thing? Sorry.
The video.
He's fired.
That's it. Pack up your bags.
Thank you. All right. So yeah, we're just gonna throw the hotline on here that we filmed, just a little snippet. And if you don't know, follow my man. It's Mr. Guy.
It's Rude Guy 420.
It's Rude Guy. It's Rude Guy 420 on Instagram.
Yeah, but I think if you type Mr. Guy, I'll pop up too.
I think you pop up anyways. So yeah, enjoy and get those questions lined up in the live comments.
Wild shit. Gotta be like a ninja. Here's the reason I do not have a car. Only benefit to a car is fucking AC. But if you ride faster, you're gonna sweat more. Let's get it! Woo! Wow, boy! Jesus!
Hello.
So have you guys have probably seen that hotline, right? I posted the video on my Instagram TV yesterday. We've been experimenting with that, posting the longer form videos from a few years back. What was that, like a year and a half ago when we?
I think it was like a year. It was like summertime or like the end of the summer last year.
And I remember, well, I definitely remember right afterwards, in the rough cut, you can see you just like distance away from me and you're just flying away. And I caught up to you at the very end when we got to Delancey and I was like, yo, it feels like I was breathing glass.
No, you called me. You called me. I
that's-
was like by the Manhattan Bridge and you was on.
I was like, stop.
You was on
already.
like house. No, you was on Delancey.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Sitting
yo,
on the
dude, where did you go?
Yeah, he dropped me.
Oh, stop.
He dropped me. You knew second so well, and the way you flowed through the traffic was great. And then you also made that. It's in this video, or in this little snippet. You made the pinch between two cars, and I had to like lock up because it was like you just like slid through, and the cars closed on me, and I was like, no.
I wish I had a front camera for that, man. It was such a tight space.
Yeah.
Such a tight space.
Oof. And then obviously, like everybody who may have commented when that video came out, like asking if the other cyclist was okay, that was not planned at all. That was Wonka, and he was okay.
My guy.
After that, we talked to him after that. We actually had to help him with some stuff after that, but he was fine. So
Yeah, I think the car only caught like
he like
tire.
washed out. He washed himself out because he had that was
nowhere else to go.
Yeah, that was the move when you blindly blast into an intersection.
Yo, he was spinning so fast.
Yeah,
oh my
because
god,
pushing a fixed gear freestyle.
Jesus,
That was crazy.
Wonka, you crazy, bro.
Yo, Wonka, if
Crazy.
you're watching this, you know you're crazy.
Word.
Let's get to some of these questions. Yeah, wild boy, exactly.
Wild boy.
So we got some questions.
Jesus.
We're gonna go up to the top and read a few. We might even throw them a little graphic on the bottom of the screen, maybe. So yeah, let's start with this question. I'm sorry, I don't even know who asked this question. That's okay, but so they want to know if you can talk more about the Boda races.
Oh man.
That was before my time in New York.
The Boda races. Those were, I think, the most organized alley cats in the city. Straightforward, like you cannot mess up. You can't mess up. It's literally, I think it was the A to B or race that it was like different subway lines and different subway stations, and when you get to the checkpoint, I think they were giving you like little slips of paper, and that little slip of paper will tell you where the next checkpoint is at. And man, that's, oh man, we need more races like that, like real simple, get to the point. Like whoever's here, we're starting it now. If you didn't make it, you're late and you missed the race. That's it. No waiting around for no special people or whatnot. It was like straightforward for the community, you know, dope prizes.
Wait a minute. The races started on time?
The races started on time.
No way.
The races started on time.
No way. That question, by the way, was from Kelsey.
Kelsey, hey girl.
Yeah, that was definitely from Kelsey. So
I see you, girl.
Sorry, I interrupted you. Anything else you want to say about the Boda races?
Yo, shout out to Kyle, Hiromi, all those guys. You guys, I love all your races, man.
Let's see. So the next question here. Let me dig up something good. I'm actually just waiting for David to throw something in the graphic there.
Oh, we're digging.
But we're digging.
Doing some underground here.
Kelsey asked that question, so I'm thinking the next question is probably going to be from. Oh, yes.
Ask me something.
Yes, the next question here is. I can't find who asked this, but don't worry, we'll get to you. The next question is, Mario, what was your worst crash as a messenger? Why do people want to know the bad stuff? What about the good stuff?
If you really want to know my worst crash as a messenger, this was probably the worst crash that I've had as a cyclist, besides the hit and run that I was in. But on 7th Avenue and 49th Street and 7th Avenue, I had one run on me going down, and I was flowing on 7th, and I went around this cab that had stopped short, and it was this lady on the 5th line of the crosswalk just standing there, and I slammed into her and carried her across the crosswalk, and I had stopped. I sheltered her. It was a little bit cold, so I took off my jacket, I wrapped it around her and put my mess bag behind her head, and called the ambulance, and I didn't run or anything. And I waited till the ambulance got there, the cops and all that nonsense, and gave her my information and whatnot. And a couple of months later, I got sued. So that was, I would have to say, my worst crash. Cause
oh my God. I
yeah,
didn't know that.
It was totally her fault. Like, she shouldn't have been standing there. It was my green light. Yeah. But the fact that a cyclist hit a pedestrian, we're always in the wrong, apparently. So, yeah, I got sued. And that's what basically made me become the plumber that I am now, because I wasn't going to sit there and, grind my ass off to make this money, and, God forbid an accident happens and, I'm not able to make any money, so I'm just going to be slumped, I'm not going to let that happen.
Damn, I didn't know that, man.
Yeah. It sucks.
Is that resolved, or is it?
Yeah, it was resolved. It took me like 2 years to pay her, but yeah. I paid her, and I remember the final day in court, I told her, "Can you please do me a favor and not stand in the street?" That's all I'm asking you for, because the next person that hits you is probably most likely not going to stop.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. You don't regret stopping though, right?
No. The lady looked like she could have been my mother.
Yeah.
And I just thought about it, like, God forbid, a million times, if somebody was to hit, one of my older relatives, I would want them to stop, even though if they're in the wrong or not. So hopefully that good karma kind of passes on, and not that I want anybody to get hit, but you know how that goes.
We got another question here.
Questions.
This is a good question. We're going to talk about this later. How does a new rider touring with a minimum How does a new rider get into touring with a minimum budget?
Oof.
Sorry, we were doing some abbreviations. I'm just learning how to read the
How does a
abbreviations.
new rider
Like someone
touring-
new into touring, do it on a budget.
Well, with that being said, you for sure have to have your gear on point, because if your gear is not on point, you will spend money on the road unexpectedly because your gear is not on point. Have a route planned, and along the route, if you are choosing to camp, that will save you money. Just know that, because you're not investing no money into no Airbnbs or hotels or whatnot. If you are not camping, look for the cheapest places. I know Warm Showers is a website for traveling and touring cyclists, that it's other friendly cyclists or friendly people in general that signed up with the app or signed up with that program, that basically they open up their houses to touring cyclists, that you basically just let them know when you're going to be in town or when you're going to be around. They give you their number, you call them, you just give them, a brief, like, hey, I'm going to be over here at this time, whatever. If they can house you, they'll house you. If they can't, then you got to look for another spot. But most likely they will house you, because people are very nice outside of the city.
I've heard of that before.
Yeah, it looked out for us on the tour to Canada.
Damn. Wait,
Yeah,
you did a tour to Canada?
yeah, the tour to Canada. And my rookie days of cycling.
Where did you go?
We toured
Canada.
Canada. We toured from I basically toured from Spanish Harlem to Niagara.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, 4 days.
4 days?
It was a 5-day.
I want to do that.
Yo, it's fun. It's fun.
It sounds like it'd be more fun going from Niagara back down, though. But I'm sure it's probably the same.
It's once you get to Maryland, Baltimore, that whole area, that's straight up hills and rolling hills and hills and hills, and just have fun with the hills. Because that's all it is over there. Pennsylvania too.
Next question. What's your favorite bike you've seen in the city?
What's my favorite bike I've seen in the city? Ooh.
Don't say the wrong thing, man.
I don't know. I have a handful of favorite bikes. Like, I've seen a couple of people with those Yamasakis, those NJS frames. I've seen a couple of dope Wise frames. I definitely, I don't know. Like, I don't have a specific bike that I like. I've definitely seen a lot of well-built bikes, like with great components that all match the frame, or all matching components, or just like top-of-the-line shit that's like, yo, dude, why are you even riding that in the street? But it's so fire. But yeah, like I'm definitely into like the older frames, like, the frames that are like you wouldn't see nowadays, but you still manage to catch somebody riding it or flowing in traffic with it. It's like, yo, dude, that's fire.
Yeah. Like lugged frames, or
Yes.
like old lug frames?
Yes. Polished lugs.
Yeah.
and all
Jason's
that good
got some
stuff.
crazy ones up here.
Yeah.
I wish I can turn the camera and show everybody.
That Panasonic.
That Panasonic just showed up
it's
one
just
day.
So clean, my God.
Apparently it's from the guy who used to race that.
That bike is so fire.
Yeah.
It looks like it never had a bottom bracket installed ever.
Silver. So
Jeez.
I guess that brings us to the next question: is like what would your dream? Oh, sensitive buttons. Hey, there we go. What would your dream build be for a bike?
Ooh.
The dream build. I guess what kind of bike is that? And then the dream build. Same.
Well, right now my dream build would have to be like a cross country, like mountain bike type of bike, or like a touring bike with fat tires, with the whole dynamo hub and like racks and or bike bag setup. But I think if we're talking like the bike that I would get, or like my favorite bike, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'll probably be like a titanium touring bike, to be honest. Like it, full rack setup.
Tie touring?
Yeah, man.
Damn.
You don't got to worry about rust. You don't got to
Yeah.
worry about like you know,
It'd be
it
cable
having
everything.
it having to, no cables.
No cables. Electric?
Hydraulic
and electric?
or the cables tucked in.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
like no visible cables. Dynamo hub with the lights front and back, with the little charging accessory thing in the stem and the whole shebang. Like I want a powered bike to be on the road for several days and not have to worry about charging my phone or
Dynamo hub and all that.
all that good stuff.
Damn.
Yeah.
I want to make a quick shout out to Mike McKenna for joining the Fantastic. It says welcome to Fantastic in green. I think he's a new member of the channel.
Hola.
We appreciate you. Thank you for that. It just turned the whole chat green, so
Dude,
I had to say something.
Green.
We appreciate
like,
you.
I
Thank
see
you.
you for sure. Like you're there.
We out here.
We out here.
So, I guess speaking on that, so you got anything? Any build? Eyes on a new ride for the springtime?
Man, I'm so jammed up with bikes. It's not even funny. Like
You got 7. You have room for more.
for the springtime.
Plus
I'm
one.
mostly looking for a new apartment.
Hey, that's not a bike, man.
It's there.
That's important.
It's in the
That's
same price value of bikes.
Really important. Yeah, you should find a nice place to rest
Yeah, I
your
want
head.
a nice place for me and my lady. Kelsey, I see you, girl.
Woo!
And after I have a nice place or whatnot, then I will probably throw some money into the bikes that I have already, sell some that I don't really need, and that'll probably fund the bike that I really, really want. So
Which is the mountain bikes, or
either that or like
I'd love to see you get a mountain bike so we can go ride.
dude, I feel so weird with a fat tire in front of me. Like I just feel so off. Like even my 40s on my cross bike it still feels weird. Like I'm so used to thin tires, but I would like to give that a shot. You know, mountain bikes and getting into the trails,
Graham
and
Hills would be really fun.
all that good stuff.
We're doing Prospect night rides. Supposed to do them on Tuesday nights. We're gonna skip this week, but
You're skipping this week.
Tuesday nights with lights. Get a bike. Even cross bike. You got a cross bike.
Yeah, but you guys be sending it, man.
No, man, we're just playing around. It's all.
I'll
it's all
fuck around
fun.
and run into a tree.
We're
or
all
some
gonna
shit.
meet here at the studio and then go ride the trails at Prospect. So you should get on that. But a mountain bike's more fun.
Yeah, mountain bike is way more fun. Suspension and all that good stuff.
We got a question again from Kel. God damn it! Why does it do that?
There we
Okay,
go.
there it is. We got a question from Kelsey. It says, hotline from Kelsey. So what does contribute to your crazy speed? I think I saw this question in there. It's been abbreviated a little bit. Is it your diet? Is it your training?
Well,
It's that vegan diet, isn't it?
Nah, man. When I did the hotline, I wasn't vegetarian. 'Cause I'm not vegan. Vegan lifestyle, I respect it. But I'm vegetarian now. Yeah, when I did the hotline, I was eating like a savage. So I wasn't healthy at all. I don't know.
You were eating the I always fuck it up too.
Mango?
Yeah, you were eating the mango, and I always I'm like, is those plantains? And
Yeah.
you're like, no, that's mango.
That's straight up plantains, smashed
Yeah.
plantains.
It's bomb.
Greatness. I was eating the whole tres golpe, like plantains with the fried cheese, the fried salami, fried egg, the whole shebang, and then I'll go on a ride with that, and I won't have to eat again till like late afternoon because I'm just so full. But what contributed to the speed? You said? That's
Yeah.
the question?
Yeah, what contributed to your speed? Like your training, your mentality, was it your nutrition? Like what was it to get that fast, that Second Avenue speed and all
if
those
you know
muscle
me-
track bombing Broadway bomb wins.
If you know me, you would know that I don't train for shit. I do not train. I don't get on trainers. Well, I have, but I'm not like that type of person you walk into their house and see them training or getting a full-blown workout in. Like, I literally use my commutes to work and me being late as my training. So that's my interval training. So, like, say if I'm coming down from the Bronx to the site that I'm at now, it's roughly 11 and a half miles. So I'll try to do the 11 and a half miles or better, my fastest I possibly could. And that's my training. And when I was at my prime, I was getting to work not sweaty, still with a shit ton of energy to work the rest of the day, and I would get out of work and mash back uptown or ride around with my friends. So I think my training is mostly base miles and just riding fast. And not, I wouldn't really consider it fast. It's more like just riding efficient, like choosing the right line and just trying not to slow down as much.
That sounds like some healthy training, man.
Nah, man, it's not training. Training is getting on a trainer and and doing that 45 minutes of like 10 intervals and full what is it, FTP and all that nonsense. Nah, dude.
Doesn't that just take the fun out of riding a bike?
Dude, if you're in your house and you're riding your bike, it's like, dude, where you're going, you're not going anywhere.
Where are you going?
Like, you can look at a monitor that says that you're going this fast, you're covering this amount of miles and this time. Dude, you're in the same spot. Like, where are you going?
So that answers my personal question to you about, I was going to say, what's your thoughts on Zwift?
Yo, it's funny. That's I tried Zwift on the Wahoo Kicker.
That's a really good setup.
And it made me a little stronger. I'm not going to front. Like, I did it probably like 4 or 5 times, like a good hour and change ride on Zwift, and it got me strong. It really prepared me to just ride, because you don't really get that resistance on the pedals in the street, and New York City really doesn't have any hills, so you're not getting any hill intervals or anything. But man, you put a steep climb on Zwift and you'll definitely feel it. But I don't know, I just don't really have the patience to sit in my house on my bike and ride my bike in my house.
Yeah.
And then
what about on like bad weather days when you're like, man, I wish I could just ride? Or like, I mean, I don't even think I lived here when there's bad winters, but
Dude,
there hasn't been bad winters. But when there is, what do you do then?
I sit on my ass and we all know the end of that one. But I sit on my ass and I don't do anything, and I rest.
Fucking perfect.
All of that.
You were made for this.
Yep, that's me.
So we got another question here. Do you still own your Thunderdome?
Yes, I do. That bike's not going anywhere.
What about the gearing on it? Because I know you were running, what was that, a 4815?
49.
4915. I know that gear now because I just recently changed the track bike I like to just throw up on, train on. I don't really ride that thing in the street, but I ride it at 4914. So I wanted to do 4915. That's a good gear, and
so much.
That's why you're so damn fast.
49.
And pushing that in the street too, it's hard to push to slow down.
But once you're cruising, man, it flows. Like I think that if you, like I said, riding efficient, like if you put yourself in a bad spot all the time running a heavy gear, you're most likely going to burn out your knees from trying to slow the gear down, because the gear just wants to go. You give it like 4 or 5 pedals and it goes, and then you give it another 4 or 5 pedals per every 10 turns of the pedals and it continues to go. Right now I'm riding a super chill commuter light gear 4618.
Yeah, when did you make that switch? After the hotline.
No, it's funny. This was after the last Broadway bomb. I think I got the last of that chainring. Because after that race, that 49 tube chainring actually kept dropping my chain because the teeth were worn out.
Yeah, that's not cool, man.
And
that's sketchy.
I got this really deep scratch in my down tube from the chain falling off of me not going anywhere. Like I was literally walking the bike and the chain fell off and it got caught in me walking it, and it put a deep scratch on it. So I was like, you know what? Let me just take this 49 off because I'm not racing and I'm not doing anything. Then when I took it off, I realized that I had a couple of teeth that just really weren't there.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me throw this 46 on so I could just chill and save my kneecaps.
Good move. If you need another 49, I got you though. I got one here. You can take it. Preference on good streets or avenues to ride fast on?
Man, 1st and 2nd Avenue, man, those are race tracks. I will always say it. People hate Second Avenue and people hate First Avenue, but I tell you right now, they are racetracks. If you catch the light right on, if you catch the right light on the double intersections where cars are going both east and west,
42nd, 34th.
yeah, like 23rd,
23rd,
42nd, 59th or 7th, one of those. But if you catch those lights, the chances of you running into a red flowing at 24, 25 miles an hour is very low. Like, you're going to catch the wave of the city. You're going to move efficiently and as swiftly through the cars. Then don't ride bike lanes. Like, if there's a bike lane on that avenue, don't ride in it because it's going to slow you down. And you're most likely going to brake a lot more than what you're speeding up. But avenues,
Another person, pro bike lane over here.
I ride the bike lane, man.
So do I.
I ride the bike lane, but like realistically, when you're trying to get places, it's not good. Like, you will hurt yourself in the bike lane riding fast.
What about your thoughts on 3rd Avenue?
If they fix the segment between 50, I think it's like 59th to like 70th. If they fix that segment, 3rd Avenue is another racetrack.
Hey, Dave, that's probably good.
Oh, and you got Madison too.
We're also coming. I don't want to get clipped with time here because we do have a hard out of here. Appreciate you guys for the questions. We're gonna transition now. I have a couple more questions that I want to ask. So I've noticed you riding, track bikes, and I heard a little bit of your story, but you recently, was it last summer probably or spring, you started like touring again, I guess because you went to Canada before that, but you toured and like where am I going with this? Like, how I've noticed you've changed the way you ride, so like how are you riding now, like compared to how you were riding back then? Like what's changed?
I mean, I definitely would say that I used to ride, to some people, reckless, just because I took a little bit more chances than the average person. But with everything that's been going on in the cycling scene and, the loss of a handful of friends, I just kind of toned it down a little bit and just try to focus my energy on just, like enjoying the outdoors and just enjoying like trafficless places like trails and whatnot. And just not riding like I used to. I really just chilled out because I noticed the impact that it has on people when the people that they love or the people that they care about aren't here anymore. And you can be a great rider and you can be, excellent in traffic and excellent in the bob and weave, but that driver that's not paying attention or that driver with his phone in his hand isn't going to see you. And you cutting in front of him can be the last cut you do ever, because he's not going to see you. And the majority of the drivers here in New York City, they drive not even paying attention to the road. They're mostly focused on the car stopping them before they actually hit the brake or whatnot. Like, just drivers are not paying attention. So it really makes no sense to be wild out here. I have a little fear of the streets now, just because of everything that's been going on. But I definitely toned it down a little bit. I'm on my commuter wave.
You're also on that touring wave again. You went on a shout out to Kelsey. I think she's in the comments. She's been asking some questions. You went on a tour with her and a couple other people.
Yeah, it was a lot of us.
Speak on that real quick, because that looked like a lot of fun. I felt like I was watching along, and then I saw Kelsey's videos on it afterwards too. So it like filled in all the blanks and stuff. But,
yeah, we spoke about this tour for a while now. Well, before we did it, the last tour that me and the guys from my cycling group, the Freaks, the last tour I did was New York to Boston. And I haven't really toured after that until the C&O tour that we did. So we took the bus to Pittsburgh, and we rode from Pittsburgh to DC. I forgot how many days we did, like 4 days or so, whatnot. It was like 4 or 5 days. We had a bunch of people from DC that toured with us and have toured with us before. They joined the ride. It was a full camping experience. Yeah, it just really brought me back to touring and made me want to do it more, and just showed me how relaxing the great outdoors is.
What bike did you tour on? Was it your 22?
Yeah, I toured in 22.
Nice.
With bike bags.
Nice.
Shout out to Orlieb. They're waterproof, trust me.
Yeah, you really only need like like a bar bag, a saddle bag, and like maybe a frame bag, right?
Dude, I went with a bar bag, the Salsa anything fork cage mount, frame bag, and a saddle bag. That's it.
Damn. I haven't done a proper tour.
Yo,
I've only done like a 1 day out and stayed, never with like stuff.
do the C&O Canal. Trust me,
Okay.
it's so worth it.
And that's Pittsburgh to DC.
Or you can do DC to Pittsburgh.
It's probably better going down, right?
Yeah, you have like I think it's like a 25-mile downhill or some shit like
That
that
sounds great.
in the tour.
Sounds better to go down 25 miles than to climb up 25 miles.
Hey, it's all the same. What goes up got to come down, you know?
Yeah. So what's up with your, like, let's just end it on the future. Like, any future, where you see yourself, what you got going on, and like what you plan to do.
Cycling wise, I definitely want to get a little bit more dirty into cycling, and just getting out there and spending a couple nights in the wilderness, and touring a little bit more with friends, and just exploring new routes, and hopefully I can get that touring bike on and popping, get it in my stable. Career wise, I'd like to get a better job, even though I like the job that I have right now, but I want to get a better job in my career and flow with that. Eventually go back to school and get a couple of more certificates and whatnot so it can up my pay. And just continue flowing in life wherever it takes me, and lead the country a lot more with my bike.
That's a good goal, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to get out the city, man. No cold winters, man.
I like that. You have any plans of going anywhere warm soon?
Oh, y'all see. You'll see.
Cool.
We'll be
waiting. We'll be waiting. Any shout outs before we go? Anyone you want to say hello, goodbye, thank you to?
Shout out to Kelsey. Love you, girl. Shout out to all my friends. Yo, shout out to Jerome. I know you watching. My homie Jono. I'm jealous right now. You in Florida chilling in the good old sunshine. Shout out to the whole crew, the freaks. Shout out to, all my old bosses. Kid, thank you for molding me into a great guy. Good work ethic and all that good stuff. Shout out to the older folks, the older guys that put me into cycling and just showed me how to, flow. Shout out to Terry, for keeping this whole community and whatnot alive, and just showing us a little bit of the background and the shit that you don't really hear about, because nobody's really interviewing. Shout out to all the videographers out here showing other people, the way of the city, and just how shit is, in motion in the city at all times. And just couriers and everybody that's on their bikes, you're going green, you're being a difference out here, and you're just enjoying yourself going wherever you have to go. Shout out to my mama, my father, mama, I love you.
I love you.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you for coming on, especially so short notice. We appreciate it, man.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Everything is short notice. The hotline was short notice. The interview was short notice.
But you just slid right in. I was expecting. I was like, yeah, something next week, and you're like, tomorrow, the next day, and I was like, normally on Tuesdays.
Like I always like to keep that in my mind. Like you don't know what's coming for the following day or the following week. So I try to do as much as I can when I can and stick to my word and when I'm going to do something, because tomorrow's not promised, you know?
True. Thank you again. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you to David and Tatum over there holding it down.
Thank you.
Doing switchings and knob turnings and laughing at me.
And whatnot. Button
And
pressing.
what else can I say? Thank you for bringing that veggie burrito over here, Tatum.
Oof.
Appreciate you.
That sounds good.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow for another upload. We're going on 18 days in a row strong.
Get it.
And tomorrow will be maybe 19. I don't know. We'll see.
Who's coming through tomorrow?
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate everyone who just joined the channel as well. Appreciate that. We'll talk to you guys on the next upload. Be safe out there. Keep it fun.